Hello, hello. Welcome to the M Show today for the month of October, because October is Domestic Violence Awareness. And I am today with Dr. Jennifer Gardella, who is very involved in domestic violence. You ask yourselves often why we do what we do. We do sometimes what we do, and most of the time what we do because we have been impacted by an issue. So in her new book, Listen for the Whisper of Abuse, Dr. Gardella have been giving us so many important information that even though you are a man, you should be reading it.
Absolutely.
I really enjoyed, and my husband also enjoy reading your book. So somehow we have a lot to learn from what you said.
Thank you so
Welcome.
much for acknowledging that and having me on again. And it's true. When I started this, there was someone that actually criticized me and said, we don't need any more domestic violence awareness. We've had Domestic Violence Awareness Month for over 40 years. And I said, well, then how was I living in domestic violence and didn't know it?
And that is important. It's a great point, because you hear about domestic violence, you think about beating, bloody situation, but we never talk about emotional abuse, which is all over. Let's put it this way, all over. At work, at home, in friendship, in the neighborhood, sometime in building, you have this emotional abuse all over. At school, the kids are
Friends,
exactly
networking groups. There are abusive
networking
people.
groups
There are abusive people everywhere.
everywhere. So most often we look for, okay, they have been abused also. That's why they are abusing also. But is it real? Do we really need to look for excuses to accept everything that people are putting on us? Because it's that. It's I will tell you, when someone is mean, I feel it as a punch in my face, or a punch in my heart, or a punch. I can feel the pain. But
and that's what they want.
Yes,
Mhm.
that's what they want. It's because they want you to suffer. They
Right.
want to hurt you.
Mhm.
So today we wanted to talk about red flag, because
We
red
did.
flags are all over. And I would say each chapter of your book should be called red flag, red flag.
Right.
That's true. That's true.
There
Each
there
of
are a lot.
us. So why do you think we see what's going on? We are aware. We are aware. We are always aware. We look for excuses for people. That's it.
Very
Why
true.
do you think a red flag is not a red flag?
Why do I think people don't realize it's a red flag? Well,
Mhm.
in my situation, I fell head over heels madly in love with him right away, and
Okay.
did not realize that it was part of his plan, and didn't realize that there's still, even though you're in a new relationship and it's great, that there should be each of you having a life. He
Mhm.
wanted to like mesh our lives together and then consume mine. That was his goal.
Mm.
And what I thought was kind of a coming together was really a takeover. And so a red flag starts with, I'm going to take you to Florida for the weekend. How great is that? Who doesn't want to go to Florida in January when it's freezing up here in Pennsylvania?
But
Right.
that was good. But that was a red flag.
That was because, well, and I share the story in the book, it came on the heels of, I'm taking you to Florida for Valentine's Day. I'll pay for the plane tickets. You can pay for all the food and hotels.
Mhm.
Aren't I the best boyfriend in the world? No, that's a weird gift, right? That's a really weird gift and a red flag. And
I wouldn't see the red flag either, because
right,
I would say, oh,
right? But
Yes.
he was controlling my money in the process of that. It was crazy. A red flag is, why aren't you here with me? We need to spend all of our time together. And the victim is getting wrapped up because everything is wonderful. He knows her favorite drink. They're going to spend the weekend together again. They're going to, she can't talk on the phone or go to Pilates or do anything with her friends because she's always with him. And she thinks it's great because she believes it's this relationship coming together. And really, it's a hostile takeover. She just doesn't know it yet.
So it's more emotional abuse, but it's also control. And that we don't realize that control is often emotional abuse.
And psychological. I mean, they go in for the whole, like I just said, the whole hostile takeover. They want every part of your life. And love bombing is such a red flag when she no longer has time for her life, because what happens long term in an abusive relationship is he then uses love bombing to hook her back in. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So if they have a huge fight and then she gets a $2,000 purse, she looks at that as love bombing. Isn't he amazing? He got me this very expensive gift. Well, he just screamed at you for a week.
Yes.
So really, I
So
don't.
he realized that he has to do something. So a lot of gift. So, and that it might be another way to not realize that you are in an abusive relationship, because the man will be yelling or hurting you, but he will give you amazing gift.
Right.
So
And
people
it's
who are so impressed by amazing gift, here we go.
right. And then the amazing gift takes on a life of its own. All of a sudden it's how do your friends like the very expensive purse I gave you? Did you tell them how great I am? And you're like, wait a minute, that's really weird. Why do you even care? Isn't this something that you just gave to me? Why does anyone else have to be
Yes.
involved? So that's where love bombing really gets tricky to play out, because she thinks she's getting this great gift. He has a completely different ulterior motive.
So what's big red flag? Another one that you will give to our listener?
Another big one, and I can't rank them in any sort of order, but another big one is if he has a list of crazy exes.
Okay.
And my abuser had this. And it was not only the ex-wife, it was every girlfriend, the last woman he had dated,
Wow.
every one of his exes was crazy. And again, a line from the book is, guess who's next on the list? The victim is sitting there thinking, well, I'm not crazy.
Everybody's crazy.
They're all crazy, but I'm not crazy. I'm not going to do the things that they did to him. And sure enough, by the end of the relationship, he was calling me crazy.
Because it's a mirror somehow. Everybody's crazy but me, right? So
Exactly.
you enter the list of the exes because you were already crazy.
Right. So he had determined that he could either wear me down or make me crazy. They use a lot of tactics like gaslighting to make you absolutely crazy and very confused all the time. So they can always point to, well, she's crazy. But then, regardless of what happens, they're just going to lie to everybody at the end and tell them that you're crazy anyway. So I even started to doubt all the stories that he had told me about his exes. That was a huge part of it, right? You get out and you're like, well, maybe they weren't all crazy. Maybe he just told me they were because that's his story.
That's his story, absolutely. And you have no, let's talk about this one, because I like you are so lazy.
Oh,
So for a woman doing everything in the house, cooking, cleaning, but you are lazy.
so I actually wasn't doing everything in the house, which was kind of hard to tease this out. He would do a lot of the cooking, he would do a lot of the cleaning. But the problem was when I wanted downtime, I could never take it.
Yes.
So he would be out with his friends all morning golfing, and then they would go to lunch. And I had no problem mowing the lawn and cleaning the bathrooms when he was out of the house. No problem at all. Like, you
Mm.
go have fun, tell your friends I said hi. But when he got back, I had already cleaned and mowed the lawn. So I was going to read a book. And all of a sudden, I was lazy for reading a book on a Saturday afternoon. Like, must be nice. And I was like, well, I just cleaned the bathroom. And it didn't matter to him at all.
Mm.
His
No,
point
no
was,
matter what, no
it
matter
didn't
what, Jen,
exactly.
you don't have to clean, have to do things to be able to just relax, take a book, or even take a nap. It's okay to take a nap because the body needs to be needs rest, relaxation. We
Mhm.
really need it.
Right.
We shouldn't be on and on and on and on.
And you should also be able to take rest in your life when you feel you need it, and
Absolutely.
not when a partner is telling you to. Now, if you
Tell
have
you.
young children, obviously they do dictate some of the schedule. We just can't nap
Yes.
if kids unattended. But and honestly, it doesn't matter if I had read a book all morning on a Saturday. That's my right as an adult human being
As
to
a human being,
do what I want. And instead, I was in captivity.
wow.
Yeah. And
So I have another one that I really enjoy, and I think it's a good time to talk about that. Enjoy, it's not the word, but appreciate. And we have two that I found are recurrent: fat shaming.
yeah. So as it turns out, in a healthy relationship, while I do believe it's important that your partner finds you attractive,
Mhm.
5 to 10 pounds on either side is your business and your business only. And I'll even say, like, you love somebody deep down for who they are.
Mhm.
And if you do want them to work on their fitness or their health, you really need to find very gentle ways to talk about it.
Okay.
So if you're okay, right. So if you start dating someone and all of a sudden they gain 20 pounds, you may be like, okay, wait a minute.
Are
But
you okay?
are like, is this okay? Like, and you have to talk about it with the other person. What happened to me was I was never thin enough for him. And I used to ask him, like, well, what am I doing here then? And I'm very honest about my story. I was 5'3" and 125 pounds. I mean, I was not obese. I was not even remotely heavy, and it didn't matter. And then what happens with fat shaming with abusers is very interesting. He wanted me down to 115 pounds. And then as I did start to lose a little bit of weight, which I didn't have a lot of weight to lose, he all of a sudden said, what about 110? And I realized it was never, and I remember saying to him, I'm never going to be good enough for you.
Yeah.
That was the game he liked to play. It didn't.
But
Oh, God.
yeah, no, you're right. But I want people to hear that because it's not really about the fat. It's just an excuse for
Pick,
blame.
pick. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just an excuse for blaming, for hurting, because you have ladies who are like a stick, you have ladies who are fatter, but the guy will always say that. And we talk about the guy because it's mostly in this, the abuser is a man. But it came to my attention that abuser can be the woman in a relationship.
So
So
it's 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men have experienced an abusive relationship. And I think we get caught up in the woman aspect. At least I know I do, because that was my experience. And so that's what I can speak from. I can't speak to how this happens with women abusers because I haven't experienced that. So if I just started saying those things, they might not actually hold true. But
yes, absolutely.
I invite anybody to come and join the conversation. I know how hard that is,
Yes.
but
Yeah, because we never talk about it, but it came to my attention that you have the other one. And as you say, 1 man on 4 have experienced abuse.
right.
It's human nature.
Sadly, I guess it is.
I think it was Christopher Peterson, the positive psychologist, who says that we were wired for being mean.
Oh, you just muted yourself.
I was talking. So we are supposed to be kind, but we are not wired to be kind. So we have to learn kindness.
Yeah.
So most people have to learn to be kind. It's not
Right.
natural.
Yeah, and there's always something in the abuser's background where he learned not to be kind.
Or it increases, or he saw it. I don't know. We have many, many ways. But let's talk about now the holidays,
Oh,
because that also it's a big red flag. And holidays are coming soon, ladies and gentlemen. So think about how you can act with people during the holidays. Because some people, it's difficult for them. Holidays are the time where they are alone. They have someone who die. You have a lot of memory or trauma around the holidays. So tell us
a lot
about
of people
the
do, and it's
holiday.
hard to get through.
Mm.
Yeah,
It's
so abusers
sometimes
call all the
very
shots in the
difficult.
holidays. Yeah, abusers call all the shots in the holidays. They decide who's coming over, what you're serving for dinner, or where you're going. And I share the story in the book where I say he had somehow saddled me with making up all the lost time with his family from his previous marriage. And I was like, well, wait a minute, you were married to her. Of course you split the holidays. Oh, but I mean, it was insane. So he would say things like, oh, well, don't you want to spend time with my family? And I was like, yeah, but I have people too. And
Mhm.
suddenly my people weren't good enough. And
Okay.
suddenly if you leave and go have drinks at your friend's house on Christmas Eve, clearly you don't love me enough. Or I would get back from that and be ostracized for the rest of the day with when his family came over. And then other things happen at the holidays. I had to give my kids compatible gifts to his kids. I wasn't allowed to have other things for my children. I wasn't allowed to cook anything because his family was used to their traditions and he didn't want anything to do with my traditions, even food. My daughter sent us Christmas gifts from Disney. Everybody got matching pajamas. Those weren't good enough for him and his children, so they didn't wear them. Like there was every time during the holidays that he could, he controlled or ruined. And
Okay.
it's like fat shaming, or it's just another thing. And they look at the holidays like the holidays are really important. So I'm going to ruin something really important. And what was weird, really weird, is that he would ruin his own birthday.
Oh, that was a one that when I read that, I say, wow, that
So
is
I
something.
I had thrown him a surprise party, spent some money on it at a restaurant. All of his friends and people were there. And it was okay, but I hope he didn't pay that much for the food because it sucked. And I was like, oh my gosh. And we would have a pile of presents for him. I don't want to open them. Um, it, we would have plans to play golf for the day together. And all of a sudden we were going to the gym because I hadn't scheduled in my gym time because obviously I needed to lose weight. And how dare you not schedule gym time on my birthday? I mean, just anything and everything to make sure I knew that I wasn't enough. And that's really what it's all about. It doesn't matter. Again, I just all about just ruining your days.
So it
Control
doesn't matter who you are, how you are. And I would say it's not about you.
at
The
all.
fact that you are abused, it's about the person who have issues, big issues, we have to say, and need to hurt somebody else.
Ugh.
You have someone who is an abuser who need to hurt somebody else. So being aware is realizing that you are okay. There is nothing wrong with you. You are not too fat, too small, bad at cooking or bad in whatever.
Right.
It's about somebody who need to express, to be negative all the time and hurt others.
Yeah. And they have a hole inside of them and they're not willing to do the work to heal it. And so they're always used to being in a state of pain. And the only thing that they need to do or know how to do is to create chaos around them. They're not willing to call Medge and say, okay, you got to help me heal this. Like, we don't even need to tell anybody about it, right? But
Yes.
I need to heal this. And they're embarrassed. They think that they're perfect and they need you to believe that they're perfect as well. And so rather than really take care of themselves, they look to control others and cause a whole lot of pain in the process.
So let's say matching their pen. When you were talking, I was saying, yes, in fact, they need to match their own pen.
Exactly.
So the earth, the bigger the pen is for them, the more they will hurt others.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a circle. It's a circle. So please look for mental health is very important. It's a subject that people don't want to talk about it, but it's important. Look for help. Look for help. You don't have to do it alone. You have people who are there to help you. And
Right.
they can do it with the most kindness that you can imagine.
And you can even do it with, all jokes aside, you can do it with someone like you, Medge, who you're never going to run into them at the grocery store. Like it's never going to be awkward, right? The Zoom has opened up this portal for people
That's
to
true.
receive help where, abusers, working with you would never be in their lives if they were from other parts of the country. So that I think is awesome.
Mm. That is true because that's true. I work with a lot of people in California. I have a lot of clients in California, Colorado. I have people all over.
Right.
But I have people here in Florida, and I will say it's not awkward because I will meet people. I will never say, "Oh, I'm working with her." Or,
Right.
there's something wrong there, no matter what in the picture. But even with this person, I will say, "Hi, hi, how are you?" And that's it. We will not have a discussion about trauma in a supermarket, no matter what. There is no, I don't even imagine something like that. But it's true. Take the time, call someone. You have thousands of people online that can help you. But it is real.
Absolutely.
It is real. And it feels so good to let go of the past. It feels
Right.
so good to let go of trauma.
Yes.
And abuse, I say that over and over and over. It feels so good. So for any of you listening, imagine that you are walking and you have two big family luggage on your back. This is what look like abuse and trauma look like. It
Right.
look like that. It look like I have two heavy family luggage in the back. So yes, one on one side, one on the other side. Can you imagine being
It's
walking like
exhausting.
that? It's what we are doing all the time if we have abuse or we have all the X's in mind, all the hurt that we have had over the time. Sometimes, you have someone hurt you when you were in first grade.
Right.
It can be just that. The first best friend that you have hurt you in first grade. And that for the rest of your life, you are thinking about it. And you are scared about engaging in a relationship with someone. This is serious, guy. So we talk about October as domestic violence awareness. But if you think about it, if you imagine that you are the home, the earth is there in all over, anywhere,
Mhm.
not only in a relationship. So be aware, be mindful, because red flag, they are all over and we refuse to see them.
Right.
Someone who loves you will support you. Someone who loves you, this person who loves you will be so nice. There's no reason to be hurt, to be loved. We don't have to pay the high price for love.
That is such a beautiful way to say it. Write that one down.
Yes, we don't have to pay the high price at all.
Right.
We can be loved. And you know, I teach that we are all unique and fabulous.
Exactly.
You know, my grandmother was saying, you know that we have a lot of bread and a lot of cheese in France. So each bread can find its cheese, because you know that some cheese are better with some bread, right?
Right. Oh,
Exactly.
that's fantastic.
So it's an image. So she was saying that all the time. But when you think about it, somebody who loves you will find you beautiful in any ways. They
Hmm.
will even love your weaknesses. They will love the fat. And you know, I say that all the time. I got married when I was the fattest that I could be. And you know, I did. So my friend was saying, but you have to lose weight for your wedding. I said, no, this is the time that I want to know that this man that I am marrying is marrying for the right reason. I gain weight, okay.
Okay.
He loves
Yeah.
me, he marry me like that. So yes, it's important for us to remember that we matter. We are beautiful exactly like we are.
Hmm.
And red flags are red flags.
Oh,
So see them, be mindful, acknowledge them, and take the right decision.
right. And get some input. Run it by a friend or a therapist or a coach and say, hey, this is what I'm experiencing or seeing in the relationship. Is this okay? What should I look out for?
Yes,
Really
that's
important.
important.
Yes.
Yes. And if you are already involved and you need help, reach to Dr. Jennifer Gardella. She is well informed and she lived it. You lived it.
I
So you
did.
would be,
And I will say, if someone is living in this now, call the National Domestic Violence Hotline. I never give out the number because I can't remember phone numbers, but you look it up. It's the first one that pops up online. It's a 1-800 number. They will have the information for your local domestic violence center. And here's the thing, you can start to do some confidential safety planning without anybody in your life knowing. And it's all free. So what a beautiful service that we have in this country that someone can actually help you. And it was a step I
absolutely.
didn't take before I left, and I really wish I did.
Yes. So that's why we are informing you, because some of us still don't know about it. So you will have the number at the bottom of this video, and please be mindful, be aware, and send her a message. I'm sure you will answer right away because you do it. You went through it, so you are today answering to people who need help.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
If you connect with me somewhere on social and you send me a message, I will absolutely reply.
okay, thank you so much. So have a continue this beautiful journey, because I think you escape domestic violence, and it's so important for you to share your knowledge and to help others in this crazy situation.
Yes, exactly.
We have to say the word crazy because it is real.
That's the, yeah,
This
right.
is the right place to put the word crazy.
Hmm.
Okay, guys, contact us, write, comment, and if you want other subjects, ask us. We would be very happy to have a beautiful conversation, like always, where you will learn a lot of things to improve your life. Thank you so very much, Jen.
Thanks again, Medge.
My pleasure. Have a beautiful day.
Bye.